Hello again, folks. Today we're going to be talking about the Fujinon FMTR-SX 7x50. I purchased this not to review. I purchased it because I just had a burning curiosity to see how a supposedly excellent binocular actually performed against everything else that I had. In the firearms world, if you're going to be talking about cartridges that are non-belted, standard rifle rounds, it may be a great round that you're talking about, but somewhere down the line, it's going to get compared to the venerable 30-06. It's just somehow become the standard by which everything's compared. And I would say that in the binocular world, at least it appears to be, the Fujinons are the standard by which practically everything's compared. And that would even include your alpha glass. Even though it comes in at under $1,000, nonetheless, there's a tendency, I've noticed, for people to be comparing some of the best stuff out there to it to see how it compares where resolution is concerned and its control of all of the aberrations. And in some instances, it still comes out right at the top of the rankings. If you go to all binos, you'll find that their 7x50 is at the top, or very near the top. The 10x50 is at the top, and they actually make mention of it besting the Swarovski 10x50. I forget which model that is, but it's there for you to peruse if you want to go check it out. The point is, I just wanted to know how the thing actually performs. What am I missing out on? I mean, I recently got the Steiners, the Shadow Quest. I've had the Orion Resolux, and for those of you out there who've done your research, you know that basically you have Kunming Optical, or United Optical in China, in Kunming, that make what they're referring to as a BA8 model, which is really essentially a knockoff of the Fujinon. And I just wanted to know, since I really enjoy my Orion Resolux, what am I missing? And I also was curious to know how the newly acquired Steiner was going to perform, since Attorney Bose did his comparison and said that the Fujinon came out on top. Okay, let's see what I get. Well, again, it's not really meant to be a review of the Fujinon, but what I found when I looked at it, very first thing, I guess Mr. Bose was a little concerned about the quality of these rain guards. Actually, it's not brittle. It's quite pliable. I have no reason to think this thing is going to break or crack or anything under any weather conditions. So that's in the binoculars' favor. The flexible rubber eye cup material, it's thinner than what you're going to get on these BA8s. It's much more flexible, more comfortable. Of course, as I stated in my review of the Orion Resolux, you can actually physically remove these things if you really wanted to. And they will fold down if you need to get them out of the way. But yeah, these things are thinner, and they are a bit easier to work with. As far as the focus is concerned, didn't really notice much difference other than the Orions are just a little bit more firm, just as smooth though. The objective covers they seem to fit a little better. They don't stay in place very well on the Resolux. You're getting a little bit more out of these Fujinons as far as the fit. But what we're really interested in, of course, is how they actually function, how they're performing optically. And this is where it gets kind of weird. Folks, you may come out of this review of the opinion that I'm a heretic. I'm preaching heresy, or I flat out don't know what I'm doing. But I put these things to my eyes and checked out a radio station tower. And what I noticed was that the resolution wasn't in any way significantly better than what I was getting with the Resolux. And I didn't expect that. I honestly believe that, yeah, the Resolux is great, but doggone it, you know, the Fujinon's got to kick it in the butt and probably exceed its performance by probably a full element when doing the 1951 test target. It didn't do that. In fact, the one thing it has that I will acknowledge, I always loved the Orions because they had what I thought was great transparency. It's like there's practically nothing between your eyes and what it is you're trying to view. These Fujinons actually did beat out the Orions in transparency. They're a whole new level of clarity. And it may be just that alone, which made my ability to make out group -1, element 1, like so many other 7x50s. That's the standard for my 7x50s. Made it stand out, not really so much better, but a little easier, I would say, than with the Orion Resolux. They both make it out, but with the Fujinons, it would just seem to be more easily picked up, quicker. And as far as I can tell, it has as much to do with the clarity as anything else. I would probably be thinking of keeping these if it would at least equal what I'm getting with the Steiners at 8 power, which is that I can make out element or group 1, -1, element 1 even easier with these. And this will comfortably give me element 2 if I'm patient and just relax. Didn't happen for me with the Fujinons. And that was that day. Some days I can do it with the Resolux. I couldn't do it that day with the Resolux, nor could I do it with the Fujinons. So as far as the resolution's concerned, I wasn't terribly impressed. But the real heresy comes elsewhere, and that's where I really was expecting the Fujinons to perform when it came to the field flattening. This is what they're famous for. You know, they got the field flattener. I'm supposed to be able to see things relatively crisp, practically out to the edge of the field. And guess what? These things actually wound up having a practical sweet spot for me. And this is heresy, absolute heresy, of about 75%. And we know that's not supposed to be the case. Did I get a bad one? Well, if I did, what that shows is that you can get a bad one. And that's not supposed to be the case. Fujinon's supposed to be well known for its consistency and its quality control, manufacture. What's more disturbing is that when I looked through the Orions, I got about 85, and sometimes I swear up to about 90% sharpness before I got the focus to start rolling off. That's not supposed to be the case. I must be a liar, right? I must be lying. Well, I did all this on my own. I checked all this on my own with nobody around me. Then I dragged my son Steve out. Steve comes out, and I don't tell him a thing. I'm not giving him any hints. I'm just saying, here, try this one, go back, go forth, see what you think. Just tell me what you think. And he came out with the exact same thing. He came out with a report of about 75% for the Fujinon, and more so for the Orion. What would you say, Steve?
About 80.
About 80 for you?
85.
80 to 85? Yeah, it's about what I came up with. A truly different picture. To me, a much more lovely picture through the Orion Resolux. How do you explain that? How do you put that in terms people will get? To make it really practical, I dragged my wife out. She is not a binocular person. She knows how to focus. She's done that plenty of times with different models that I've had her out with, but she does not know terminology. She couldn't tell you about field flatteners. She can't tell you about sweet spots. I just had her just look through both of them, and she said, I like this one. I like this, she didn't know the name, so I told her, well, that's the Resolux. Why do you like it, honey? Well, because when I look through it, it gives me a prettier picture. It actually looks like I'm looking at a TV. That's how she puts it. I'm looking at a TV. Because, and I find out what she means by discussing it with her, it's flat. It's nice. It's like one plane. And now we get to the ultimate heresy. These things, these Fujinons, while with my Orion I have no sense of field curvature. No sense of field curvature with the Orions. With these Fujinons, I'm seeing field curvature. I'm actually noticing the slight warping or bending of the foreground and the target area, as if I'll put it this way. These are going back, and I'm holding on to these and enjoying them. Maybe I got a bad one, but doggone it. I mean, this is the heresy part. These are not worth that kind of money. You're paying basically $700 for something that it's good in only two ways. It's probably giving you half an element more sharpness in the center, and it has great transparency. It's absolute tops for transparency, but the rest of it, it's not there. And while it had the same kind of sense of sharpness that the Orion has when you compare them to the Steiner, which has a odd kind of a sense, a soft focus. Nonetheless, it didn't equal, it didn't allow me to see as deeply as the Steiner. So I don't really know what Bose was talking about. Kind of disappointing. If you guys got any thoughts, any comments that would be helpful, let me know. I'd really like to know what's going on. Should I just give up? Should I give these things a second chance by ordering a different pair? Collimation was great. I mean, In that sense, it was right on the money as far as I could tell. It just, wow. And so there you are, folks. Be on your guard. And once again, if you got some tips, you want to tell me how I'm missing something, go ahead, write your comments. I need to hear something, because I would kind of I was looking forward to getting these in 10 by 50. Maybe I should just get another Resolux. Anyway, that's the report for today, and take care out there in your choices. Bye.